When you decide to take the trip to Nagasaki, the subject top of your mind is obviously the fact that this was the second city and the last city to have been attacked using an atomic bomb. It was detonated as part of the Second World War, and the sheer terror of that bomb and the one detonated days before Hiroshima brought in the end of the Second World War, which was a good thing. But it also started the nuclear arms race, which we live with to this day. I had mixed feelings coming here, and I'm sure it'll be the same when I get to Hiroshima in a few days' time, because I'm aware of what was happening elsewhere in Asia, and I'm aware of the history because of my time spent living and travelling across China. I found this museum and this peace park very challenging, and I would imagine it's the same for any individual who's done some travelling and research in Asia, and anyone who's tried to put more context to what was happening in the world at that time. I found it particularly difficult because I've been to the Nanjing Massacre Museum in China, Nanjing in China, and when I came outside of that museum, I had to actually sit in the park and take time to pull myself together because I was horrified at what I learned there. It was a harrowing experience. My ultimate takeaway from here, Nagasaki, the atomic bomb museum, is that nuclear weapons should never be used, and their place here is dedicated to peace. I also wrestle with this idea of what is a justified war. Is there such a thing as a war that was justified? Who knows? The museum here, like I said, was harrowing, and I'm sitting in the park at ground zero, which is just behind me here. It's known as Hyper Centre. 1,000 metres above here was where the weapon was detonated. And it's known, and I'm clear about one thing, that when we have wars, needless wars, it's always full of pain and suffering. And the people who are very much against wars, common people like you and me, we suffer the most. And that's what I've experienced here. But here's the thing. Nagasaki, the city of Nagasaki, has got so much more to offer. So I'm going to share the museum and the Peace Park with you as I speak here, and also for another minute or so. And then I just want to share with you what else Nagasaki has to offer, because there's more than just what happened 81 years ago. So stick with me while I show you more of Nagasaki. Thanks. this morning we walked up to the museum from the hotel, and by the way, it's a lovely little hotel, well laid out and stuff. But we walked up this morning, and then we decided to come down to Chinatown. And I said to Lisa, let's go for the bus. But no, she said, let's go for the 𝐒𝐔𝐁𝐒𝐑𝐈𝐿 bus, otherwise known as the tram. And it was an experience. It was pretty crammed in, and it was what I would call 𝐒𝐔𝐁𝐒𝐑𝐈𝐿 bus. Now, the word 𝐒𝐔𝐁𝐒𝐑𝐈𝐿 bus is what Glaswegian people used to call trams, because Glasgow did have a tram service years ago. So that 𝐒𝐔𝐁𝐒𝐑𝐈𝐿 bus tram here in Nagasaki was interesting. Anyway, we're going to go and find Chinatown. Yeah, irony. So we have found Chinatown. It is right there, right next to where we were standing when I just recorded that video as I came off the 𝐒𝐔𝐁𝐒𝐑𝐈𝐿 bus. But I just wanted to pop on and say the train journey from where we were, which was Fukuoka to Nagasaki, it was a great train journey. The first train was cool, but the second train was a bullet train type thing. It was a lovely train. Inside it was all wood and done like a, I don't know, it was like an aircraft inside. So I'll share that with you. But one thing I wanted to point out, navigating the trains here in Japan is not easy. There's so many different lines and trains, and this line and that line is kind of privatised. It's a bit awkward. Definitely not like China where navigating the trains I found very easy. Anyway, we're now here. Chinatown. Yeah, of course. So Chinatown was mostly closed, and it's like any Chinatown, you're best to visit in the evening, which we knew that. We just wanted to go see it, walk through it, may go back of an evening. We're here for a couple of nights. This is a park, we're heading towards a park. There is a dinosaur museum over there, but I didn't saw it, passed it somehow. So I didn't saw it, as you get my point. Anyway, and there's a Western House up there. Lisa said, do you want to go see the Western House? I'm like, really? From the West? I don't know what a Western House looks like. Anyway, there's plenty of things to see. I'm sure you've saw the stadium by now by the time I shoot this video. That was pretty cool, seeing that this morning. I do want to go away up into the mountain area, probably tomorrow, so we can look across the whole bay. So that might be an adventure to look forward to. Right now I'm going to walk through a park and just chill in the beautiful sunshine.
So high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Actually, I was joking there about going to see a Western house. The reason why there is a lot of Western houses, and that one is in particular quite interesting because you can go inside it and so on. But there was a lot of Western influence here because this was one of the early ports in Japan that allowed foreigners to enter the country. So if you think Shogun and the Portuguese way back then, this is kind of that place. So it does have a Western influence when you look at the buildings and you do walk around. Certainly, I mean, it looks and feels very much Japanese, but when you look up and you look at some of the buildings, you can see a Western influence. Anyway, I should come back in and pop some more interesting facts about Nagasaki. That means going to do some research. Anyway, I just want to show where I do want to get to, which is up on this hill here. Because up there, you can see right across the whole bay. Not quite worked out how to get there yet, but that's where I want to go. So before that, I might come back in and tell you some interesting facts about Nagasaki. and then up there tomorrow and share that with you before we leave the next day for Hiroshima.
Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind. Flying, get on board. We're smiling.
So a change of plan. Remember when I said I wanted to go up to that mountain, the observation deck, and have a look across the bay? Well, that's where we are. Same night, same day. Checked the weather for the next day, realised it was cloudy. Thought, why don't we do it tonight? And apparently this is the third best evening view of any city in Japan. So we jumped a bus and it took us up the hills. But it doesn't take you to the top. As a big man's here struggling, you have to climb some stairs. But it's going to be damn worth it. The bus ride was a bit very scary though. Hi. The things I do.
I don't really know what comes next. I'm just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can and I won't. That's what guides me the most. Your lies, I'll do what I want.
This seemed like a good idea. Still a good idea, I think. You're like a mountain goat springing up these stairs. Give me a breather. I'm too old for this shit. That was a climb. Apparently the carriage down is off, so we're walking down.
Shall we go to the summit?
Of course. The summit. This is the summit. Thank God that was the summit there. I thought it was further up. More stairs. Not sure if I could do it. Anyway, let's have a look at this.
find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have.
It was a long day. Taxi down that mountain back here. What is it? 9 p.m. at night. Healthy living.
But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours.
Okay, so I'd like to come back to you just to share a little bit more of what you can get up to in Nagasaki, beautiful city just behind me. I'm going to be quick here because this video is getting on a little bit too long. Nagasaki, the city here, has a population of about 400,000 people in the main city area, and when you take in the surrounding area, it's about 1.2 million people in total. Tourism gives it a boost during the seasons, obviously. The population is declining in the city, which is kind of like Japan, and I know that's the same for other countries, and we're all going to have to manage that over the coming years. The city is walkable, but we did take some trams and buses which are relatively easy to navigate. I would suggest get a travel pass, then you can just put it on your phone, scan on and off the trams or the buses. The trams can get a bit crammed, but they're good fun. I shared some of the other top things that you can do here, but the one thing we didn't manage to do, which was a little bit of a disappointment for me, but not something that would in particular have excitement for Lisa, and that was to take a boat ride out there to the James Bond Island, otherwise known as Hashima Island, which is an old abandoned coal mine. It's an island that was featured in the movie Skyfall, you may remember that. We also went up to the hills up there to a Christian area to see a beautiful church, for me otherwise known as a dream factory, one of these places that is selling you real estate in the afterlife, but you pay for it using real money in the current life. Not for me, but it was beautiful and expensive, go figure. We also went to see a famous industrialist guy here, his house high up in the hills. He's no longer with us obviously, but he's left a legacy here in Japan, an Irish guy called Clover, and that was all about him bringing modern industry to Japan, which was nice to see. It was all good, but nothing is good as just walking the city, eating awesome food and drinking really nice beer. One thing, keep in mind the cars are small here and the restaurants, they're not that much bigger, so don't panic when you're squeezed into a seat in a restaurant and you're eating your food while you're staring into the eyes of the chef. I actually quite like that about Japan. I'm not sure if I like it elsewhere, but for some reason I tolerate it here in Japan because it is just part of the culture here. Listen, really enjoy Nagasaki. It's a beautiful little city. It's a great pace of life here. Beautiful, clean city with very nice people, although they are a little bit standoffish. For me, it's got a lot that you can hope for in a city when you come travelling, but something the city does stand for is this one thing for me which stands out, and it's something the city's all sort of centred around, and it's all about peace for obvious reasons. So I really like that about this city. I'm heading to Hiroshima now. Hope you come with me and see the next video about Hiroshima. This is Ian, leaving Nagasaki, saying to you, peace out, take care.
Sauce.